Before moving on, let's try one more provider in the Next Auth, which is a Google provider. So we are going to add an Google authentication system. Let's go to the nextauth.js.org/providers and Google, and in that documentation you will get some kind of information. And these are two important URLs. You need to be careful about that. One is for production, which will serve your actual domain name, and in our case we are using the localhost, so this localhost colon 3000 URL will be used. And the option we are going to use is Google provider option. And here is a full documentation link of Auth 2.0 from Google API. So just close that for a moment, and for configuration purposes this URL would be useful: console.developers.google.com/apis and credentials. Please follow the documentation of Next Auth. It will give you an updated link of your cloud console. Here you need two things. First of all, you need a project created, which in my case is I created Next.js test app project, and you can create a new credentials by clicking here, and here you can choose the OAuth client ID and click on that. Here you need to fill up a few informations for your application. Application type, you need to choose the web application, and the name of your application as my app2, and authorized JavaScript origins for use the request from browser, and authorized redirect URIs for use with the request from a web server. So these are you need to add. First of all, let's create the URLs and see what will happen. You need to copy this client ID. Let's copy this and move to your project, and you need to navigate to the .env file, which is here, and let's paste this here for now. And your client secrets, copy this and paste into your .env file as well. Save the file, go back to your documentations. You need to add the URIs. For that, open it, and here you need to add the authorized JavaScript origin and the authorized redirect URLs. So here the authorized redirect URIs, you need to change this, copy this code, and authorized redirect URIs, add this URI, and once done, click on the save, and you are good to go. Now you need to come into your this example, and you need to copy this Google provider, and you need to navigate to your pages, API, and auth folder. In that auth folder, over a .nextauth.js file with the brackets, and open this file. We are using this file throughout our tutorial series. If you are not following along, please check the description link, and the first Next Auth tutorial for the credential based login system, the credential provider we used. And if you are just want to know, and I will go through with that. We imported the Next Auth and the credential providers, but in this example we are using the Google provider, and all we need to import is a Google provider. like this. Copy this code and make this import here. So now you have Google provider as well as the credential providers. So you need to put a comma here because this is an array, and you are good to use both of the providers. The next thing you need to do is copy this one and move to your .env file and place it here, and come back, use the client secret and also copy it in .env where we added the client secret ID. And once you are done with that, just save and reload your application with the npm run dev command. Come back in your application and refresh. This is the sign in button, and here you can now see sign in with Google. So if you click on that, it will redirect you to the Google page. You can choose an account for logging in, and once you logged in, it will redirect you with the email, your email, and you are logged in with the Google. So if you just want to recap everything quickly, all you need to do is you have some authorization params, or you can prompt the consent, or XX type could be an offline, and response type could be a code as well. It could also return you is the email is verified or not, but these topics are for our future examples in the future videos. And all you need to do is to install npm install Next Auth after you created your first application, and you need to create Next Auth.js file under the pages API and auth folder. Once your application and the file is created, navigate to this file and copy this code. And instead of GitHub provider, we are using the Google provider. And you need to create the credentials here, and once you are done, you need to go back and put the credentials in .env file, and from that env, if you run, it will take you to the sign in page, and in the sign in page it is sign in with Google button automatically added. And if you are wondering, this page is created from the Next Auth library, so you have nothing to do. All we have to do is create this login dash button.js file, and this is simply using use session, sign in and sign out built-in functions in the Next Auth React, and the Next Auth is using the session. And if session, it means you are already logged in, it will tell you that session.user email, and if you are not, session is not present, it will simply tell you that you are not signed in, and put a button for sign in, and on click built-in sign in function would be called, which will display you the respective UI. So that's all for this tutorial. Follow me into the next one, where we will implement some more cool stuff with the Next.js.